introduce you, and then get get started with the questions I got. If anybody else has any questions, we'll jump through that.
Okay.
So, again, everybody, thanks again for joining us, man. If you have any questions, you can hit them in the comment box below or ask them in the question box. It'll be the easiest for us to keep up with us. But we blessed to have Miss Caitlin Davis with us, senior at Southern University. She's a multi-sport athlete in high school, where she played, I believe, you played volleyball and track, right?
Volleyball, softball, and I ran track. Yes, sir.
You name it, she did it. You name it, she did it. So, did a little bit of everything. Had a lot of success in high school basketball. The team was pretty good. She had another girl, Jasmine, that was also Division I athlete as well. So they had a lot of success. Moved on to McNeese and then transferred to Southern. We'll talk about that little pivot in her career throughout this period. And then now she's at Southern, where she started 26 games last year, and she was 8th in the conference in assists. Pretty big time. She was dropping dimes all over the place.
Yes, sir.
Caitlin, man, I appreciate you joining us. How you doing during all this virus madness, all this corona, and everything else going on?
It's crazy. It's kind of hit, at the wrong time, heading towards the conference tournament, So being
No
home
doubt,
is
man.
kind of drastic right now.
No doubt. Y'all was definitely on the run. Y'all it seems like Southern always makes that pivot once it comes to tournament conference time and tournament time, and I'm sure y'all are getting ready to make another run again. That's definitely tough, especially for the seniors.
Right.
Again, like I said, hopefully we can figure it out this year and have a season.
Right.
I was talking to some of my football buddies. They're a little concerned. They don't know if they're going to have a football season. So we definitely need some sports in our life for sure.
Right.
But again, man, I appreciate you for joining us. So we're always using this platform. We're talking middle school and high school girls.
Okay.
So we're going to go through your basketball journey. Think back, when did you first start playing basketball? Like, how did you come around and first get that ball in your hands?
I started when I was 4. I started bitty basketball. I grew up in a coach's house. My dad always coached sports, so I was always around. So, 4 years old, that's when I started playing the game of basketball.
Cool. So your dad was a coach for basketball, or what? How
Yes, sir. He had he started with Mr. Big Dave, Team Louisiana, and it kind of went on from there. So I had no choice but to put the ball in my hands.
I love it, man. No choice at all. So
No choice.
you started bitty ball. A lot of people, some of us are familiar with that. Bitty basketball has been around for a little while, but it's kind of off and on with AAU and everything. Can you kind of talk about that experience? Bitty basketball is mostly kind of in your area. And then did y'all do all-stars and all that, traveling around?
Right. I played with Miss Andrea Broadhead, Coach Gary Broadhead at UL.
Yeah, that's good people.
I played for Acadiana Stars. I met people there, and then, as time went on, we all went our own ways. But, that's where I started the basketball process at.
Acadiana Stars, that's awesome, man. She's been great for that community, and her legacy is definitely living on.
Yes,
no
sir.
doubt about it. She's the GOAT, especially when it comes to that.
For sure.
Her and her husband kind of created that on their own, man. That's awesome. So you transitioned after that. You went into high school, Breaux Bridge High School. Tell us about that experience again. Talk about Jasmine a little bit. How y'all kind of fed off each other. Y'all both ended up going to Division I. Pretty cool. You don't have that opportunity a lot, especially kids that graduate the same classification. Not very many teams have that.
No, it was fun. I enjoyed playing with her. We kind of fed off of each other's energy. As far as practice-wise, it was always competitiveness between us, making each other better, And when we seen each other slacking, we were always there to pick each other up. And then come game time, we're like, let's go. So it was a great experience playing with her. I actually do miss it, but, hey, time flies. She's on her own path, and I'm on mine, and we're doing great things.
Absolutely, man. Both y'all getting free education. That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what it's all about. So, in between that time, when you first picked up the basketball and probably somewhere in Breaux Bridge, when you kind of decided to go on to McNeese, and senior college, into playing your career in college, when did you start taking basketball seriously, and really wanted to kind of, all right, I want to do this. I really want to play college basketball?
I'll honestly say it was my 10th grade in high school. My dad kept telling me, time's going to fly by, it's going to shoot by. And once I started getting the interest, 9th grade year, because I've always played up, once I started getting the interest, once 10th grade year hit and flew by, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Cool.
And
so again,
coming in, I had that drive. So
So again, your dad was on you. He was kind
Yeah.
of pushing you a little bit, but you had to kind of see it for yourself too. You saw the interest coming in. You're like, okay, maybe my dad is right, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's cool. Again, guys, anybody that's joined us, feel free to ask any questions. I want to get to a question here, and we'll kind of pong back and forth through her career. All right. So, how far are you willing to go with basketball? Like, what's your career, like life at? Like, your senior year is going to finish up. How far are you willing to go? You trying to go play professional
Yes,
overseas or
sir.
what?
Yes. I have a desire. I'd like to play overseas. A couple of years. Love for the game is not gonna fade anytime soon. So I'd like to keep bouncing it a little while longer.
That's cool. Definitely, and don't mind getting paid while you do it too. That'd be cool.
Of course.
Travel around the world.
Yes, sir.
All right, so thinking back to Brobridge senior year, what was it that kind of we'll go ahead and get into your journey. You went to McNeese first, so again we're talking to middle school and high school girls. So I think it's great to have you on. I'm excited to have you on because we haven't had anybody that's transferred that's been on our LGR live. So it's good to see different people's journeys, right? What led you to McNeese during that time whenever you were making your decision?
The coaching staff there, I fell in love with them. They didn't miss an AU game, they didn't miss a high school game. They even came to practices. Their energy, it was just a great fit for me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think a lot of people don't realize that you don't really wake up and dream of a school, a McNeese or a Southern or whatever. You fall in love with the coaches. Like people really make the place, and I would agree with that for sure. Again, guys, anybody that's joining us, feel free to ask any questions. You can ask them in the little comments below, or you can ask them in the question box. We'll get to a question here. If you had to do it all over again, what would you have done differently?
If I had to do it all over again, the things that I would have done differently, as far as attitudes, coaches look for attitudes. It's always, you never know who's in the gym. I would have probably, taken it more serious more earlier than I did. So as far as the attitude, being focused, taking it serious, getting to the gym, I would have definitely did it. Started over and did it more differently.
That's great advice for sure. I love that. Great advice to any middle school, high school kid watching. You never know who's in the gym. You never know who's watching, and people talk a lot,
Yes,
a lot. All right. So the question goes on. He asked, "What about in reference to like AAU?" So, who'd you play AAU with? Did you think that had a big influence on?
Yes, sir. I started with Coach Bernard Wesco out of Mississippi, SME, and he took us on different levels. A tournament that caught my eyes was in North Carolina. I played up. I played with big recruits. Crystal Reed, who went to Vanderbilt. It was,
Oh no, wait, you played with Reed? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as like the athletic ability, I would have definitely, taken that more serious had I known what I know now.
Yeah. So you played up with y'all. He always goes to Deep South. Y'all went to Deep South. That's
Yes,
the tournament
sir.
talking about North Carolina. Yeah, no doubt. He definitely goes out there.
Yeah.
I mean, coach does a good job of bringing y'all to all the way to that side of the coast, to Texas and everything.
Yes, sir.
That's cool for sure. Can you talk about that experience? A little bit. Some girls. That's kind of like the fad that's going on right now. There's a lot of girls that are looking to play outside the state AAU. Why did that work for you? Why didn't you decide to play in-state? Why did you decide to go out of state?
I knew as far as I had older teammates who I played with, when I was at Acadian Stars, I noticed, that the setting was all about, having fun with the game. And I knew building relationships, and Coach Wesco and we clicked immediately when I met him. And I knew that it was a great fit for me. He took care of them. He made sure, like, if you wanted to play for the next level, he was going to make it happen as long as you had that drive to get it done.
No doubt. He's good people for sure. People make the place, man. That's what it seems like keeps coming back to you. Talk about the people at one place, talk about the people at your AAU. You talk about the people. People make the place for sure. So let's kind of move on and just keep talking about AAU. So what do you think kind of really helped get you on college coaches' radar? You said you started getting some interest in ninth grade and stuff like that. What do you think was like the most beneficial thing that helped get you on college coaches' radar?
I take it as far as I really playing up. That really helped me get on coach's radar. When they saw a ninth grader playing with 11th grade and actually have that drive to get after it, it was kind of outstanding.
No doubt, especially when you're looking in that book and you're like, man, this girl can hoop, and then you look down like, wait, she's in ninth grade? Oh, let me circle her. Definitely, you automatically get circled. That's no doubt. And you talking about really playing up in AAU, or you talking about playing up in high school, or both?
Yeah, high school, and also, as far as at times I was probably the smallest guard on the floor, and seeing me get after it, I don't fear anything, Defense is number one for me, so getting after it and up tempo, yeah, I think that caught a lot of coaches, as far as on that level.
Absolutely, man. Playing multiple sports, you're definitely a big time athlete, man. I didn't even realize you played softball. That's
Yes,
cool to see. Again, guys, anybody that's joined us, feel free to ask any questions. We're here, Miss Caitlin Davis, Senior from Southern. I know Jag Nation's got to be out there with some questions. If you have any questions, type them in the question box below, or just in the comments there. So, like challenges, we really want to kind of talk about challenges, something that's kind of set you apart from anybody else that we've had on before. You transferred, and there was 800 and something girls in the transfer portal. So transferring is very, I guess common now more than it has been in the past. Can you talk about that journey and the challenges that you had along the way?
Yeah, the transfer, it was actually out of the blue. Going into the transfer portal, I thought it would be stressful, but I actually got blessed and lucked up with Southern University. Coach Jeremy, I've always played against him coming up. So when he contacted me, once I got into the transfer portal, I knew, I was in good hands if I went to Southern University.
Can you kind of talk about, educate some people about how the transfer portal works? Like, what do you do on your end? Like, how do you come to that, I guess, that decision, and how is it handled after that?
At McNeese, me and Coach Casey, we kind of got on the same level as far as, I wanted to kind of, get my feet wet in the new program. As far as the paperwork, we got everything figured out, and then, a couple visits here and there, and then the best pick for me, I went with it. It was a patient process. Nobody really pushed me, forced me to do anything I didn't want to do. So it was kind of stressful, but I knew, falling into the right program, I was definitely in good hands with Southern.
Absolutely. And so you went through the recruiting process twice, which is not super common for everyone. What did you learn from going through the recruitment process in the first time? What did you do differently the second time? And how did you learn from that?
Maturity, when my first, as far as recruiting, as far as committing and stuff, I was so nervous. I was ready to, go ahead and commit. But as far as, maturity going into years now, like, that second transfer portal, when I got into it, I was like, go ahead and be patient. If a coach really wants you, they'll show that interest and go for what's best for you.
Absolutely. So you took your time, man, really enjoyed it,
Yes, sir.
Communicated, heard everybody out, didn't jump on the first person that showed you some love, huh?
Yes, sir.
So again, we're talking to middle school and high school girls. The platform is designed for that. We're trying to bridge the gap. You're living the dream that these girls are, like you once were whenever you were in 9th grade, 10th grade. You dreamed of being where you're at now. What advice do you have that you would kind of give to those middle school and high school girls?
My advice to them would be, kids don't need to look at the size of a program. Look at where they're a great fit. The name of a school. Look at where it's going to fit you perfectly. You'll be able to be taken care of. They'll care for you as far as off and on the court. The name of a school. Look at what's great for you. A great fit.
Absolutely. Definitely. A lot of people don't realize there's 15 scholarships in girls basketball on the next level. So that's a lot of people that are going to be sitting on the bench at the end of the day, right?
Yes,
so finding that right fit. And I think you found the right fit at both programs you've been at, been able to, be leading team in scoring to 8th in the conference in assists. We're blessed to be able to play this year. I'm sure it'll be up there again in assists and scoring as well, So it's definitely, fit goes a long ways. And whenever you're kind of looking into that program for that right fit, what's going through your mind? What kind of are some boxes you're trying to check off?
As far as leadership, for sure. I want to go into a program where I know that coach is not only giving me the green light, but as well as my teammates around me. Just that trust, having that bond and that trust with your coaching staff as well as your players. Everybody on the same page.
Absolutely. That's I hadn't heard that before. That's pretty good. Having that trust from coaching staff, having that, like, you're a natural born leader, man. You want to make sure that you can go in there and you can be a leader.
Yes,
for
sir.
sure. Again, guys, thanks for joining us, man. We'll be on here for another 10 minutes or so. If you have any questions, you can hit some questions in the comment box or ask a little question box below. Um, so, what are you majoring in? I know you kind of transferred. That's probably some difficult times as well. Making sure your class is transferred and all that. What are you majoring in, and what do you plan on doing after the ball actually stops bouncing? We talked about you're going to try to go overseas and all that. What are you going to try to do after the ball stops bouncing?
I'm currently majoring in criminal justice. I shall be graduating in December. Once the ball stops bouncing, I do have plans on coming back and continuing law school, finishing up there, and pursuing my career.
So, what you want to be a lawyer?
Defense attorney, yes, sir.
Defense attorney, man. I might have to call you up a couple times. That's cool. So you must be pretty smart then, huh?
Yes, sir.
Y'all got a pretty good law school over there too.
Yes,
a lot of people don't realize how good the law school is over at Southern as well as nursing, man. I'm pretty sure they're pretty top in the region for sure.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. We got a question here. Oh, she must have just joined us. She asked. This is one of our younger ones, the middle school player. She asked, "What age did you start taking basketball seriously?"
I'd say my 10th grade year, so I had to be about 15.
So she was 15. We kind of covered that a little bit earlier. But she started playing when she was 4, and then got into bitty basketball. But then she said her dad was telling her over and over, "Man, you need to take this seriously." And she started getting some interest
Yes,
from colleges, and it really hit home. So I'll be remorse, not to use this platform us as sports people. With sports coming back, NBA, WNBA, I feel like what's going on in the world with the social injustice, they're going to really be able to use sports as that platform. So I want to give you the opportunity. A few LGR lives ago, we had someone ask a great question. I've been asking it to everyone. What's your thoughts with the whole situation, the social injustice? As well as what are some things you think your generation can do to really make a difference?
I'm young still, but my grandparents, they kind of ran down the history of how things used to be. But I think words to, people today, we're all in competition with each other instead of building each other, I think as far as if we build one, help one another, build each other up, we wouldn't be facing anything we're facing right now. It's crazy.
Definitely. So, what are some things, some ideas of how can we build each other up? Like, how can your generation really make a difference? I mean, that's a great answer for sure. But how do we put that into works and create this anger into some momentum?
I think we start with the youth. The youth is our future. So I think we start with the youth. We all gather together to do things with the youth, and that's our future. So it starts there, ground up.
Absolutely, man. That's a great idea. Great mindset there for sure. At the end of the day, man, we got to continue to keep educating ourselves, just like you're saying, like getting educated on the history, educated on what's going on now, and I think we're headed in the right direction. There's a lot of anger that is going on right now in the world, but I think it's a lot of momentum that's going to be carried, and I really hope that this time's different. With everything that's going on, I think a lot of people are going to look to sports figures like yourself and what you guys are doing, and you can lead by example. It's going to be a great opportunity for you and your generation.
Yes, sir.
So again, Jaguar Nation, they probably got some people out there watching. I'll be clipping this up, so you're going to be all plastered all over social media, man. Well, what are you excited about this next year coming up with Southern? Opportunities y'all have. You'll be a senior. Hopefully we'll get a chance to play. What do you think about this coming season?
I think this group that we have here, as far as the recruits we brought in, and our season being cut short last year, I think it's going to be a great season for us. As far as Coach Funches and the coaching staff, they've recruited some great players. So being around that environment, I think we have a great season coming up.
No doubt. Can you kind of talk a little bit about Coach Funches, man? And, he's been there as an assistant coach, been through and through. Now he had his opportunity as a head coach. He's won 2 titles already. Who knows what would have happened if the conference tournament would have happened? Probably would have got another one. Can you kind of talk about him as a coach, as a person?
Great coach, great person on and off the court. It's not just about the name on the back of the jersey. He cares within. He and I built that trust, and he told me I had the green light, So we built that trust, and he's a great person. He will not cut you short. He will not fail you. If he tells you he got you, he has you. He has your back.
That's big time. That's big time, especially coming from the head coach.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
somebody like you said, when you're looking for that leadership, that was a big box that you wanted to check, and I don't think anybody can check it as big as he can. He definitely checks that box off. So
Yes, sir.
that's cool, man. We're definitely excited to see y'all get back on the court. I hope we can, get back to some basketball sometime soon. You guys do a lot of traveling as well. I want to talk about that. You got an opportunity at Southern, kind of unlike really anywhere else, where you get out and you travel, you go all over. Y'all went to Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. Y'all went to New York, I think. Can you kind of talk about that experience, traveling all around and doing some different things as well as playing basketball?
Yeah, it was great. Great views. We actually played against really competitive players. The different levels. It was great. It was, could probably say it was like one of my top goals. Off my checkoff list. Going and seeing different views, different places. I enjoyed it.
So y'all are playing top competition, playing in big time venues, and y'all getting to see like the views you're talking about. You're talking about like off the court too. Like, what was one of your favorite places to go to as far as like off the court?
Well, I think when they took us to Times Square, New York, I enjoyed that. Yeah, I enjoyed. I wasn't dressed for it, but I enjoyed it.
What do you mean? It was cold?
Oh, it was cold, and I had tights on, and I had the jacket and the long tights, and it was cold. I enjoyed it though.
Man, I never been. It was packed or what?
It was packed.
For real, they had people there. It's like on TV. They got the screens all over the place.
Yeah, it's just how it is on TV. I was like shocked when I walked off the bus. I enjoyed it.
I think y'all went to Miami too, right?
We did.
You didn't like Miami? You like the cold?
I enjoyed it, but New York was one of my dream places. So that one. But Miami was very different too in that tournament. It was great. A good experience.
Cool. What about like who's the best player you went against? You matched up against, because like I said, y'all are playing like top 25 teams week in, week out, especially in non-conference. Who's somebody that you really enjoyed matching up against? Tell us about her game and how she kind of pushed you.
Honestly, a transfer from Rutgers. She was a point guard at Texas Southern, and she was different. I enjoyed playing against her in conference. She was different. I'll tell anybody.
So y'all see her like multiple times. She graduated last year, or
she
coming back?
graduated this past season, yes, sir.
What was good about her game, that kind of really stood out? And again, she kind of had the same story as you, went somewhere and then transferred back.
She had that quarterback mentality, getting everybody involved. She was very smart on and off the ball. She was quick, great with that. She had great handles. That was probably one of the toughest competitions I've had by far this season.
That's cool. That's a cool story. So, we're going to get more into depth in your position, right? So you're a point guard. What makes you a good point guard, first of all, and then advice that you have to middle school or high school guards that are coming up, what do you think that like a college coach is looking for in that point guard?
Like I said, that quarterback, seeing the floor, getting everyone involved. It's not just about you, distributing the ball, passing the ball, scoring, defending, all around. You're the quarterback, so the ball is in your hands. You have to make plays happen.
What about on defense side, man? What about that?
Oh, you got to get after it. See, when I transferred to Southern, Coach Jeremy would always get at me. I have to have my hand on you. I have to touch it at one time. And he would tell me, no, you have to back up. And it was just defense was always my number one priority for me. Defense wins games for sure.
Absolutely. So you're the quarterback on offense, you're the linebacker on defense. You kind of got to set the tone on both sides, man.
Yes, sir.
What's some advice you would give, to a middle school, high school kid that, is coming along? They're a young player right now. They're looking to play up, like you said. What advice do you give that girl she's a ninth grader going in? She's going to be the starting point guard.
Keep pushing. Get after it. Make that gym your second home. Never give up. The sky's the limit. And like I said, someone is always watching. The next person can know that person. Words travel, things get out quick. Think about the positive side. If you want to play on the next level, you make sure you have that drive.
Absolutely. That's great advice there. So, I don't know if we covered it or not. Is there anything you would have done differently throughout your journey, starting from young to where you are now? Is there anything you would have done differently?
Yes, for sure. Like I said, I would have definitely taken the game more serious early. Um, as far as attitude, not knowing who's in the gym, that was one of my biggest problems. You know, young, and my dad would always tell me that you never know who's watching. You know, I was one of the ones I didn't like to lose. I was very competitive, so you know, after games I would be pouting if we lost, and coaches are always watching. You never know.
And that's big time. A lot of coaches will watch highlight films, but when they watch that game film, they're watching everything. You know,
Yes,
before, after, how you interacting on the
for
bench.
sure.
Hopefully, you're high fiving. I mean, I don't know
High
what the
five your
virus.
teammates, your coaches. Yeah, when you
I don't
sub
know if the
out, where you
virus is
go
going to
sit
let
at
us.
on the bench. Yeah.
Yep, for sure, man. Last thing I want to ask again, guys. Y'all have any questions, man? Feel free to jump on, ask any questions. But last question I got before I let you go. You really talked about leadership a lot. You know, you got a great mind for leadership, mindset, mentality, and you're physically out there doing it. What do you think it takes to be a great leader?
Um, that drive, I feel like this: if you're limiting yourself, if you're, going half speed, halfway, your teammates pick up off of that. So, if you have that drive and if you push, you never know who's watching. They look up to you, and that's one thing Coach Funches did tell me when I transferred there. That leadership,
Cool.
he needed it from me. He had others that were looking up to me. So if I didn't get it done, it wasn't going to be a good outcome.
No doubt. That's a lot resting on your shoulders, man. But at the end of the day, when you're a leader, man, that's what you want. That's what you ask for.
Natural, yes, sir.
No doubt. So last question. Again, talking about you see, Coach Poker Chapman just says she wants to say good luck to you on your journey.
Hey, Coach Pokey, thank you.
So last question, man. We wrap it all up. I really got out of you leadership. You talked about leadership a lot. You talked about the right fit, and you talked about playing up. So let's talk to that girl that's trying to play up again, and she's trying to lead these seniors or these juniors, and she's only a freshman or a sophomore, right? How do you get that buy-in? How do you get your teammates to really buy in whenever you're younger and you're trying to still lead that team?
First things foremost, you have to take care of your business first. If they see you're not doing it, then why should I get it done? If you're handling your business, then you go ahead and you let them know. As far as the teammates' perspective, you want what's best for them. So it's not to knock them down or anything, but if we're all on the same page, it's a great road ahead of us, So,
no doubt. If they see you out there grinding and you out there in the gym every single day, man, that's going to go a long ways. And then whenever you get on to them, they're going to be like, hey, she might be right, man. She out here working.
She's putting them. Do it, right.
Exactly, man. Lead by example, man. Lead first. That's cool.
For sure.
Well, Caitlin, man, I really appreciate your time with us. It's been great. It's been awesome to get your journey. Like I said, just going from the transfer portal and finding a new home, man, and really loving. You had success at both places. That's awesome. It's really big, and I think you got big opportunities and big things ahead of you. Again, Coach said, you see Coach today. She said,
yes,
take care of business.
Yes, sir.
So now, no pressure, man. Once we get back to rolling, man, you got to go out there and win y'all another conference championship.
Yes,
get to those NCAAs, man.
Will do. Yes, sir.
So, Caitlin, if you need anything my way, man, feel free to reach out. And we look forward to seeing you on the court, man. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Thank y'all for the opportunity.